Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel. This is going to be the ending of our roofing videos. It's taken us approximately 8 weeks to complete the roof, so we're going to give you a quick tour of the roof and go through 15 things we've learned over this project. Right, so this is the second area of the roof that we tackled. This is the rear elevation. As you can see, we've got Velux and it joins into our new timber roof that I put in. As you can see, I've got a cracked tile by there which I should replace quite soon actually. As you can see, we still haven't finished this section, but as you can see, it's only small. I need to finish the block work on the gable end and we can finish it completely, but that's pretty much the roof done for us. This was the first section we stripped off, the hip end. This is where we learned a lot of stuff, so we'll talk about that in a bit, but as you can see, it's all finished and looks quite nice, in my opinion. This is the front of the roof. This was the hardest elevation to do, in my opinion, because there's so much going on. We had the Velux windows, we had the valleys, we had the ridge going into the existing property, and we had to join the ridge to the neighbours. This roof is approximately 90 square metres. I originally estimated 100 square metres, and I ordered an extra 100 tiles, which is about 10 square metres more. So we've got 200 tiles left over. So the one thing I wish I did at the beginning was only take the first coat of tiles off and replace all the fascia and soffit to start with. I made it a lot harder by stripping the roof, retiling down and then doing the fascia and soffit. So we've just made it super awkward for myself.
So the second thing I learned while doing the fascias and soffits was over fascia ventilators. Originally I was planning on using circular soffit vents at every 200 millimeters. But I personally don't think that these look great when you stick them into the soffits. So somebody on TikTok mentioned about over fascia ventilators, and once I found out about them, I thought they were a great idea. They allow airflow for the whole perimeter of the fascia. Once you have installed your fascia ventilators, you can then install your eave support trays.
So as I've mentioned in another video before, whenever you go for materials, get quotes from a range of suppliers to get the cheapest. Once again, Travis Perkins blew out the water and they were the cheapest by far. So the tiles we actually use are from a company called Northstone, and they are the Causeway tile. They're printed on the pack. Just a smooth black tile, pretty basic, but I think it looks nice. So another thing I learned the hard way was not only should you just work right to left because they're interlocking tiles, but I should have done all the cuts on the right hand side first, work the whole elevation up and the cuts up to the left, and then I should have started on the other elevation from right to left again. I did it the hard way. I left all the cuts to the end. I was walking up the ridges and it was very hard, taking a toll on my calves and my knees. So that's one thing I would definitely do if you're going to do a roof. When you're doing the cut, sometimes you don't have the top batten to hook over to, so you get these hooks. They clip over or fix to a batten or over the top of the other tiles. And along with these clips, what I've done is I've put 2 massive blobs of CT1 to help support it, so this doesn't go anywhere. So with our Velux windows, we actually went to the supplier to buy the tiles and the Velux at the same time. They supplied us with this flashing kit, which we've now found out that it is for the profile tiles. So you can form the LED flashing to the shape of the tiles, whereas we didn't need this flashing kit, we actually need a flat one. So we're going to go around to the front and we'll show you the difference on the flat one. So we're now at the front of the property, and as you can see, this flashing is so much more aesthetic and nicer looking than the one on the rear. And also, if you notice, our tiles on the edges don't kick up onto the flashing. That's because there was a recess in the battens and it just all neatly sits nice. So when I ordered my GRP valleys and my bonding gutters, I didn't realize that there's a dry one and a wet one. So they did actually send a GRP wet bonding gutter, which was sort of like a wide open plastic with grit either side, and that's where you put mortar at the side of your tiles and you leave it exposed. I had to send it all back because I don't like the look of that, and I think just this little plastic nib down the middle looks a lot better than a wide open bonding gutter with cement. So when we first done the hip elevation, I used spacers to get our battens fixed. I did start the first batten off dead straight, but it did deviate a few mil over the courses. So a lot of people said to use a chalk line. You measure your distance either end and then ping the chalk line on the felt all the way through. We found this did work pretty well, but because of the colour of my chalk line, it was hard to see. So another thing I've actually learned by watching TikTokers with scaffolding doing roofing, sometimes the scaffolders will actually put the scaffolding boards up this high to the fascia and soffit, so it's like almost impossible for them to work on. We had a little bit of a dilemma, which is over here, where these two poles were quite close. As you can see, this one is actually touching our dry verge, so we managed to get around it, but sometimes things like this can get in the way and make it harder for you to work on the roof.
Tip 11 is if you're doing a home renovation and you're doing the roof yourself and you need any hardcore, I would suggest stockpiling your tiles and using a crusher to crush them. Depending on your project, sometimes this can work out more cost than time effective, but a lot of times on larger projects this is not the case, and you usually just dispose of the tiles and get hardcore bought in. Tip 12 is to get yourself a 4-inch cordless grinder. I started off the project using my corded 9-inch grinder. This turned out to be quite difficult to cut because of the constant bending over and having trailing leads. With the smaller cordless grinder, I could cut the tiles anywhere I needed to and made life quite easier.
So one thing we noticed with these tiles were there's lots of white markings where they've rubbed. I spoke to the manufacturers and they said this is due to transport, and over 6 months, if they haven't disappeared, to recontact them again, and then they will probably send someone out and we can look at it. But I'm almost certain they'll disappear because it's a lot better over the last 8 weeks from when it first went on.
Tip 14 is one I learned the hard way. Don't walk over the tiles because you're more than likely going to break them and have to replace them as you go along. And the very last tip we've got to give you guys is to start the roof works in the summer months, because we started our roof at the beginning of October, so that's autumn. The nights were drawing in, the weather was getting colder, and during the whole time we've been doing this roof, we've had 2 major storms, we've had weeks of rain, and we've had quite a lot of below minus conditions. And because we were doing this on the evenings and weekends, all these setbacks made a real delay on the project.
Thanks for taking the time to watch our video. Leave us a comment down below of what you thought of the roof renovation. This is our first time ever doing a roof, and we're only doing this as it's our bungalow. To end the video, I thought I'd show some before and after photos of the roof. We do have another video coming out on Sunday, which is going to show the whole roof transformation in 10 minutes. Now that the roof transformation is complete, we will be taking you back inside where we've had some really exciting things done. If you come and follow us over on Instagram, I post regular stories showing real-time updates. Thanks for watching. Bye.